FrightFest Television here, and it's me with Ashley C. Williams. We were delighted to have her before with The Human Centipede, first sequence. And she's back again with Julia, which is, I think, a terrific film. Now, I want to know why you particularly got involved, because although it looks like it's a typical rape revenge movie, it actually goes way beyond all that. So how was it pitched to you, and why did you want to do it?
Well, when I first read the script, actually it was before I read the script, the director's statement was sent to me on why he wrote the film, and a background of sort of who he was and how he, put himself and his experiences in life into the film. And it was his sort of journey of awakening into himself that kind of put this this idea into my head, where I was like, wow, I feel I can really, really relate to his experiences, and this girl Julia, actually, I really, really related to. And it wasn't, when I read the script, it wasn't your typical, rape revenge film, like you said, and it wasn't even horror, which is what I was looking for, at the time, something that wasn't horror. So yeah, it was brilliant, and I just had to be a part of it.
And what did you see about the character exactly? I mean, was there something in there that you thought, I can really sort of like respond to this particular part?
It was her journey, actually. It was going from this, really meek, shy, nobody who had a past that she didn't talk about, and finding herself through this, tragic thing that happens to her, just going through the motions of finding yourself again, gaining control back into your life, from the ones who stole it from you, and finding who she really is as a person. She was going from like this shy nobody to this like full ecstatic, beautiful woman of power, was really something that drew me to the role. And, yeah, it was beautiful.
In the program notes, I actually allied it to the film Lady Snowblood. Was that anything that came to you, or was it sort of taken from that at all?
It was, yeah, there's a line in the film where the bartender at one of the bars that Julia goes to, where they definitely mentioned that, but I had no idea anything about it.
So you said, because it's almost like a sort of like an implant, isn't it? There, it's put in very subtly to sort of make you think, yes, possibly.
Well, Julia, the character, didn't know anything about it either. But it was like, this like Lady Vengeance, and the word vengeance, of course, comes to Julia, and she's like, fuck yeah, need to get rid of this thing that's, inside of her, that she's like, this, what's happened to me, I have to, I want the people to pay,
I mean, visually it looks stunning, I think, the film.
Stunning.
Absolutely
Stunning.
Wonderful to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that's a reflection on the poster too. I think the poster is one of the most arresting, isn't it? To actually...
Well, that photo, I mean, that scene in the film, of like the slow shot into Julia in the bathtub, when she fully realizes what, what she has to do, and I think one of the other reasons why I really wanted to be a part of the film was a couple of the short films that the director had done before were just stunning in the film work, and sort of the dark concepts of those as well, and he put those into this film, and I knew that it was going to look stunning.
Yeah, because the style is, I mean, that's what, again, I think takes it up a real sort of like few levels from your average, what it would be normally, under, say, somebody who's less talented, I think. Yeah. It's really good. The rest of the cast, were you cast first?
No, I was cast last.
Well, because your part was such a difficult one to cut.
Well, they had a couple girls attached prior to me, and I came in very last minute. I was actually a replacement, and it all happened very, very fast. And I was recommended. They were like, "Who? We've got to get someone." And so I was put in front of them, and I had to audition, and it was I walked through the door and they were like, you know, Matthew, the director, was like, hey, you want a beer? And I was like, what? This doesn't happen in auditions. You know, I was like, yeah, I'll have a beer. And then we went through the script, and I actually had only had time to read the entire script prior to the audition. Didn't have time to read the sides or whatever I was going to be auditioning with. And so we just were chatting, and the cinematographer happened to be there. Like, all the crew was already there because they were about to shoot in like a week, you know. And so it was basically, I went through it and completely connected to the character and connected to Matthew as a director. And it was just a brilliant match. And they were like, this is Julia. This is who we've been waiting for. So, yeah, lucky me.
I mean, just basic facts. I mean, where did you shoot it? How long did it take? Was it difficult? Was it pretty smooth running?
It was really difficult. It was in the dead of winter in New York City, and it was freezing all the time. All the time. It was even more cold inside than outside. That's how cold it was. So we shot for about a month, and it's like January 26th to the beginning of March. So it was pretty smooth. You know, there were some bumpy rides, you know, last minute location failures and that kind of thing, and just pure bloody cold. Just it was pretty terrible how cold it was, and they had massive heaters for us, and I had like these big down jackets that, you know, throwing on me all the time. And but from what I remember, it was just it happened really fast for me, so I felt like I didn't have a lot of time to dive into the character. But because I was so in tune with Julia and who she was, and then I could really connect to who she was, it really helped speed up the process of the character work that I did for it. So,
I mean, since The Human Centipede, I mean, you must have been offered sort of similar roles, horror roles. Do you like that? Has it changed your life in a good way, or are you happy with...
Human Centipede definitely changed my life in a good way. I wasn't doing film before Human Centipede. I was doing theater and musical theater. Huge theater background since I was 10 years old. And
would I have seen you in anything musical theatre-wise?
I don't know. Have you
Broadway?
I haven't been to Broadway. Off Broadway.
Oh, okay. What in? I'd love to know.
They were all like new works.
Oh, okay.
Everything that was like new, I like to be a part of. You know, sort of.
By the workshops and bringing it to the stage and everything.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So, but everything like theater-wise that I had done recently before Human Centipede there were a lot of like controversial works too. You know, I'm always drawn to these sort of dark, you know, mysterious, controversial, you know, weird, different, unique work. And instead of doing like, you know, revival after revival of shows, I've always wanted to be a part of something that was different, you know, where it was like I'm the first one playing this role and I'm creating it, you know. So going from theater to film, I think was quite it was quite interesting diving into the horror world, you know, as like my first experience with film. And being a part of the Human Centipede, I thought, you know, when I was debating whether to do it or not, to be a part of it, I was like, well, this could either make or break my career, you know, depending on, if it's bad, then people probably won't see it and then I'm fine. And then if it's good, then people will see it and I'll be fine.
And Tom being such the eccentric director that he is, it was bound to be sort of like...
I knew it was going to be good, you know, and I mean, none of us knew what to expect on set either. You know, we were all, even Tom didn't know what to expect. We all just had a really good time, and I think his passion and enthusiasm for the concept was what drew everyone to it. And people who understood it were the ones who got cast, you know, who had the balls to be a part of something so disgusting but unique, you know.
Now you're in another horror film coming up called The Church, I believe. Can you say a bit about that?
I don't know much except that, you know, I play, you know, it's an ensemble film pretty much, and, you know, it's dark. They're trying to sell the church, and there's supernatural, you know, creatures in there that don't want the church to be sold, so they, you know, make sure that doesn't happen. And the people who are selling it, you know, pay.
I mean, do you mind sort of being tagged? I mean, I don't want to say Scream Queen, but you're tagged with that. I mean, does it bother you?
Well, I haven't been tagged as a Scream Queen, you know, and I'm okay with that. Like I'd rather, you know, I've only actually technically been in one horror film. You know, The Church is a thriller, you know, with horror elements, and same with Julia. Actually, it's you know, psychological. Thriller with horror.
But it's very dark, though, Julia. I mean, so
dark.
that's why
Yeah,
it qualifies for a FrightFest movie, really.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's literally one of the first times anyone's ever seen the movie. I mean, going in, I mean, what do you hope that people will actually sort of like respond to on the film when they see it? I think it's got a very, very strong, you know, female audience behind it. You'll actually get that crowd on your side.
Yeah,
sure.
I hope so, and the male part as well. You know, I really hope that people see. And understand her journey and why she's doing what she's doing, and how I don't, you know, some people might consider what she does, you know, as evil, but the controversial part of it is that, like, if this hadn't happened to her, she would not have become who she is, which is, you know, this beautiful, powerful woman of complete control and just, you know, this ecstatic energy, you know, and she used to be this shy little girl, and I think some people would be like, well, you know, she's killing people and, you know, castrating them and, like, you know, doing all these terrible, terrible things, and so that might put people off, you know, but for me, it just makes a whole lot of sense.
That's what it takes.
Yeah. So I hope people understand her journey and why she does what she does, and see the dark, beautiful part of it, you know.
I'm sure
evil is beautiful, you know.
I'm sure it's going to play really well, actually. So thanks very much for coming back and supporting it for us. And we are doubtless going to see you again soon.
Yeah,
so thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.